Sarà questa. Ma non sai vedere un po'.
Appena esce? Non ho detto, appena esce ci vediamo.
Sì, certo, appena esce da qui il telefono.
Via, via! Oh, su, fuori dai coglioni.
No, vogliono mettere lì perché vogliono vedere.
Non è a norma con 20 persone sulla piattaforma.
Io adoro quelle ventilatori. Cosa fai?
Dulcis la matematica.
Fa la vaga, deve fare il telefono.
No, deve arrivare ancora. Dopo
Ci sarà uno che più o meno era così, ma aveva lo zaino girato.
È davanti! Dai!
Chloe!
Chloe!
Without sunglasses, please. Excuse me.
And to your right, Chloe! Ah, bellissima, bella,
Chloe, you're stunning! Thank you!
Chloe! To your right! Up your right!
Put the phone down! Put the phone down, please!
Facciamo anche gli altri due. Can we have you for a single shot as well, please? Miss? Yeah, for a single shot.
Wait.
Via! Oh! Occhio davanti, ok. Scusa! Up here, to your right.
Okay, and this way, and look at me, please.
To your right, please. Up to your right. Ah, lovely. Bella.
This way.
Facciamo l'altro? Quanto è grosso quel figurino?
Ma io mi chiedo, ma come fai a stare nel mezzo e non sentirti male? Ma perché non sentirti in cuore?
Secondo me questa era un'amica di Henry.
Ah, ma chiaramente, è chiaro.
Vabbè, Michael! Over here.
A quick look to your left here. Hi, hello.
Thank you!
Facciamo salire.
Allora, io
Sei riuscita ad entrare a casa? Dove sei dormita?
io sono pure riuscita a fare quello che devo fare alle 4:30. Ah, 4:15, sì.
E quanto hai pagato?
76.
Ah, bene.
Quindi guarda, nel...
Dai, io con
Anzi, veramente 600. Faccio levare come i miei video su 100 perché al banco mi fanno un po' vabbè, non era molto finta.
No, veramente drammatica.
Ma dove vai dopo? Vai in là?
Fuori con la fioccia.
Allora... Sì, io devo andare a vedere. Così per stasera... Ah, grande? Mamma, piano incredibile.
È stato 15 minuti sotto la pioggia volevo prendere un poncio o qualcosa del genere.
Però abbiamo 5 minuti.
Più comodo per fare il poncio. No.
È un po' la situazione.
Stiamo lavorando.
C'è nervosismo?
Ah sì? Cosa mi sono persa? Un po' di...
No, perché dicono che se no sono in ritardo per il fotocall.
Vabbè, è così. Grazie. Eccoli.
Arriva la barca.
Andiamo!
Lo sento.
Henry.
Affettuosamente lo posso chiamare piccolo Henry.
Chi?
No, mi sa che è piccolo non capisci. Vai, dai. Chiuti.
Ma io lo dico affettivo.
Ma tanto è giovane, è dell'88.
88.
Sì, beh, ma
Ma sembra
neanche
normale
40 anni.
Qua vado a finire.
Chi è? Si vede.
Sì?
Eccola.
Grande Luca!
Non so, non so.
Via davanti! Via davanti! Via davanti! Davanti! No, lui sì, ma lei che sta qua? Non ci arriva mai. Non è difficile. Davanti! Eccolo! No, questa non è. La bella.
Pensavate,
Cazzo, ragazzi, è normale, che tu sei sopra le robe che non fai con lei. Non deve esserci sempre il piccino in mezzo. Se no non deve essere.
Andrew! Davanti, davanti! Andrew, look here, Andrew!
Non è lei.
Sei Inter.
Grande Luca!
Giulia! Open, open!
Oh, il telefono!
Via col
Oh, il telefono!
Giulia! Giulia!
Giulia!
Giulia!
Guys, could you do a little a step to your right, please? All together, a step to your right. Sì.
Ok, dai, Giulia, Luca! Giulia, Luca! Davanti,
Luca! Giulia! Luca, facciamo una foto assieme! Luca, una foto assieme con Giulia! Vicini!
Giulia, look to your left as you walk! Giulia! Andrew, to your left! Look to your left, Andrew! Aspetta però, perché
Giorgio non sei uscita?
Poi vediamo, porto su questa e poi.
Senti, ma
Saputo Luca Guadagnino che ha smesso di viola?
Perché
è venuto con
è
tre,
evidente, è evidente.
No, perché quello è quello che si usa di solito
in Irlanda.
Ma tu ridi, però tutti i testi la delegazione
Arrivo subito.
Ma io devo andare che prendo da capo dallo zaino. Rivediamo gli LC.
Ci vediamo
però in particolar modo le robe
le mando da là.
Ci vediamo tra poco, noi andiamo a comprare su.
riesco a stare comoda a il problema è proprio sì, rilassa la mano. Molto meglio andare dall'altra parte, guarda.
Vieni
Dall'altra parte secondo me è buono perché c'hai. Non è per la luce, non è comunque, c'hai la barca, c'hai. Ma allora attenzione. Loro sono andati molto presto per questo motivo che è tutto buio. Se fossero andati. Magari al ritorno che c'è una luce migliore. Perché arriva il sole magari. Capisci? Io sempre sono 2 giorni e mezzo. Poi c'erano questi vecchiari. Madonna mia, oh, ma qui io?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to the press conference of the filming competition After the Hunt. Before we start, I'll introduce my guest, starting from the right, the end right of the table, the screenwriter Nora Garrett, the actor Michael Stuhlberg, Julia Roberts, the director of the film, Luca Guadagnino, actor Andrew Garfield, the actor Ayo Edebiri, and Chloe Sevigny. Okay, let's start there.
Hello, everybody. It's Stephen Schaefer for the Boston Herald. Congratulations, of course, on the wonderful film. This is a movie filled with compromised characters. And I wonder, for Julia and Ayo specifically, what was so attractive about playing these very troubled women?
Ayo.
Miss Roberts.
I mean, trouble's where the juicy stuff is, right? Yeah. It's all that great complexity that Nora wrote for all the characters, really, is, I think, what assembled this kind of a group. Because once it's like dominoes of conflict. Once one falls, then suddenly, you know, everywhere you turn, there's some new piece of conflict and challenge, and you know, that's what makes it worth getting up and going to work in the morning. Ayo?
I would have to echo that statement. I think, yeah, there was just so much rich complicatedness in all the characters, and that's just like the dream, I think, to what you said, Julia, about being challenged. It's like, by the type of character in the best way, by each other. That's just, I think, how you grow, and that's the type of movie that I really enjoy watching, something where you just are like, I have to go back, because maybe the vantage point that I had in the beginning, I realized by the end is completely different. So yeah, there's a lot there for us to get to play with and learn from, yeah.
Before we take the next question, I would just like to invite all my castmates to open their cans. It doesn't interrupt any of the incredible things we're going to say.
She was like this every day on set. When her can had to be opened, everyone's
all of ours would open.
It's like the microcosm of Julia Roberts. That's a joke.
I think we have a question there. I think your mic isn't working.
Hi. Hello, good morning. Maria Guerra, Quinótico, Spain. Well, congratulations on this complex and provocative movie. It's a question for Julia Roberts. Amazing performance. Yesterday, after the press screening, really the movie caused controversy. Many women were talking about this, that this movie undermines the feminist principles and undermines the feminist struggle. So, well, this is like the dilemma of the movie, as I saw yesterday. So, I'd like to know your stance, your thoughts on this. On this dilemma. Is this a movie which undermines the feminist struggle, and is a post-Me Too movie?
Thank you, Luca. I mean, I realize we're here on a clock, but just when you say undermines the feminist movement, just can you give me just a little morsel of how, in what way do you see that?
comes back, it revives the old argument between the fight between women. So it is like it casts a shadow on the accusations of women. So it is like the old narrative of the abuse.
Well, I think, not to be disagreeable, because it's not in my nature, but I would say the thing that you just said, Maria, that I love is that it revives old arguments. And I don't necessarily think it's sort of reviving just an argument of women sort of being pitted against each other or not supporting each other. There's a lot of old arguments that get rejuvenated in this movie in a way that does create conversation. The best part of your question is you talking about how you all came out of the theater talking about it. And that's how we wanted it to feel, that everybody comes out with all these different feelings and emotions and points of views. And should we hold for that? And things that you realize what you believe in strongly and what your convictions are, because we stir it all up for you. So you're welcome.
I like to bring Nora and Luca on this subject, because I actually thought that both the script and the film did a remarkable job in addressing the complexities of this issue, and this is very much a film about personal responsibility and what we tell ourselves, not only what we tell others. And I think it's very refreshing. It brings an extremely refreshing perspective on an issue that seems unsolvable, So Nora first and Luca after. Tell me how you tackle this complexity.
Well, I think Julia answered beautifully, first of all, but I do think that something that is difficult when you bring these questions that are central to the film, and something that Luca was very focused on during our collaboration, was this idea that there is so much nuance surrounding these conversations and surrounding these particular issues, and that, to imagine that we have completely moved on into a separate wave of feminism, I feel like undermines what's actually happening and undermines the reality of being in society and being with each other in society. And I think what we were trying to do was just to bring to the fore something that felt true and real, and also something that, again, as Julia said, asked people to ask themselves what they believed.
I'm gonna go in English, even if I'm Italian in Italy. I think that the idea of the movie that I really love is that we are looking at people in their truths. Everyone has their own truths. It's not that one truth is most important than another from the perspective of filmmakers and artists. Is that how we see at the clash of truths, and what is the boundary of these truths together. It's not about making a manifesto to revive old-fashioned values, by the way. Who knows, us publicly and also personally cannot think about that in that perspective.
I think there was a question here, in the first row.
Buongiorno, Damiano Panattoni, Movie Player. Una domanda per Io. All'inizio del film c'è una discussione, la scena iniziale con Andrew, parlate delle vostre generazioni. Come vivi tu la tua generazione, anche in relazione al fatto che sei molto attiva su Instagram riguardo appunto temi di stretta attualità, insomma, se senti una sorta di responsabilità.
To current issues, so this sort of responsibility that there is.
Oh, I'm so sorry, to the translator. Could you?
Do you want to ask him to repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry. Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
All'inizio del film,
at the beginning of the film,
con Andrew Garfield, insomma, delle
with
vostre
the character of Andrew Garfield, you have this discussion amongst your generation. So you are very active in Instagram. So vis-a-vis your generation, do you feel you have a responsibility when you talk about current issues?
Grazie. Grazie. I mean, I think as a human being and also as an artist, like my maybe idealist belief is we all have responsibilities to each other, no matter how big and small. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as the character of Maggie, I think was really interesting to me and attracted to me because I don't think she necessarily believes that, and kind of inhabiting somebody who maybe comes from that perspective was yeah, just very fascinating. And I think the conversations we were also having, like creatively, it just brought up a lot, which as an actor is always exciting. I think there's a question here.
Hello, this is Ryan Latanzio from IndieWire. The question is for Luca. Luca, tell us why the opening credits of the movie are in the style of Woody Allen.
The crass answer would be why not? But I would say I think there is a canon that I grew up with, and when I started thinking about this movie with my collaborators in front of the camera and behind the camera, Malika Sansaid, the director of photography, and Stefano Baisi, who worked on the production design, and Giulia Piersanti, we couldn't stop thinking of Crimes and Misdemeanors, or Another Woman, or even Anna and Her Sisters. And there was an infrastructure to the story that felt very linked to the great oeuvre of Woody Allen between 1985 and 1991, I would say. And I played with that a few times before this. I did a couple of times use that kind of graphics and font. And I felt it was also a sort of like interesting nod to thinking of an artist who has been, in a way, facing some sort of problems about his being, and what is our responsibility in looking at the work of an artist that we love, like Woody Allen. And by the way, it's a classic, that kind of font, no?
No, that's
I just want to conclude. It's such a classic that it goes beyond Woody now.
Sì, signore qua. Yes.
Thank you. Lazar Christopher for BNR Radio, Bulgaria. I have a question for Ms. Roberts, Mr. Guadagnino, and Mr. Garfield. Throughout the whole film, my impression was that every character was lying to themselves, to other people, impersonating other people. Could you tell us, Ms. Roberts, Mr. Guadagnino, and Mr. Garfield, what is the truth for you as individuals living your daily life? Is it subjective? Does it have to be objective every time you encounter someone, or you hear someone telling a lie? And where does the responsibility lie? Or is a responsibility, like a word, also a fiction for you three? Thank you.
I think Mr. Garfield would like to address this question.
What I love the question, and it kind of gets to the heart of this film and why I was personally attracted to it. And it's, for me, about if we don't make the unconscious conscious, things will happen in our lives and we will call it fate. And that is like a bastardization of Carl Jung, I think. So sorry to Carl Jung and to all of you. But that really excited me about this, and I feel like when our motivations are invisible, even to ourselves, all of us are unreliable narrators, and especially in a culture where survival is paramount, or a kind of perception of survival is paramount. And as we all know, human beings will behave animalistically when we are put in a position where we feel like it's life or death. And I found that really, really interesting about this world and about these characters, and how their drives, their wants, their needs are invisible to themselves in certain ways, and they're convincing themselves that they are the protagonist or the hero of this story. Yeah, fascinating to play with what's unconscious and what's conscious.
It's right there.
I would just say, agreeing with Andrew that yes, I am the hero of the film. But additionally, I would say that Nora has done an exquisite thing that I always thought was fascinating, in that there's a group of characters in the movie, myself and Andrew and Ayo. We are in the philosophy department of school. We are the philosophers. And then we have the therapist and the counselor. So that is what inhabits this space that we're in. And I think that that's so interesting and fascinating, that those are the labels that we have as our sort of jobs, to be philosophers and interpreters. So what you make of that, you can do that at lunch amongst each other, but that's what I just thought was really a key element for all of us to get to play with.
No, for me, I think that it's always interesting to see what we carry without knowing we carry within ourselves, and how we are acted out by things that we don't know we are acted out about, and to see that being happening in the confrontation between characters and in performance, of course, it's fascinating. I think that even the lies of people tell the truth, as we know very well, in many places in the world right now.
Buongiorno, è una domanda per Mr. Guadagnino.
A question for Mr. Guadagnino.
Mi chiedevo la tua carriera ad un certo punto.
A question on your career. You started with a film, and then there was like a gap, and then suddenly you became particularly prolific, and all your films are very much waited for and appreciated. So what happened in that gap? And then production. You're very active also in producing films. When you decide to produce, when you decide to be a director, that's a question. And congratulations for asking Julia and Ayo to be your actresses, because I really adore them. And Chloe, of course.
No, thank you to having said yes to me. No, il mio primo film era The Protagonist.
My first film was The Protagonist here in Venice. Alberto Barbera chose that film
territori nel 2000, credo, nel 99.
For the New Territories section.
Diciamo che la mia personalità è molto ebulliente, attiva, mi piace fare.
I'm a very active person. I like doing a lot of things. If I have the opportunity to do things, I do them. For directors, sometimes it is possible, and other times it's not. So I feel that I'm very lucky, and it moves me that people like me so much, that people want to work with me.
Persone che mi aiutano a fare I film.
I'm surrounded by people who help me do the film, and I'd like to deeply thank my dear friends from Amazon MGM who have supported me with a great passion over the years, with very consistently, and given me full freedom to research artistically, and that's something without par as far as I'm concerned. I produce because I love directors. I love directors. Directors are my passion.
Mi piace la mentalità, la personalità
I
dei registi, non ho
their mentality, their personality. I don't feel that I'm in competition with them. When I produce a film, it's because I feel that director, those directors, have the film in their hands, and so my task is simply that, to be somebody who guides them. I find the money and ensure that each one has their ability to express themselves, and that's something that I've had the privilege of obtaining thanks to the studios that I've worked with, and I'm thinking in particular of Amazon, MGM, and all the people who have supported me.
Buongiorno, Gloria Sarta, Il Messaggero. La mia
Il
domanda è per la
Messaggero
signora
question
Roberts.
for Ms.
Intanto,
Roberts.
complimenti per questa stupenda
Congratulations
interpretazione
for
che
this
lascerà un
beautiful
segno, ma la
interpretation
mia
that will
domanda è
leave its
questa.
mark. But this is
Proprio
my
perché il
question.
film affronta
Because this film
dinamiche
faces
complesse,
complex
molto attuali,
dynamics
cruciali,
which are
come
very
il
topical and
privilegio di
important,
genere, di etnia,
gender
il consenso
privilege,
e così via.
privilege
Si aspetta
associated
che
to
possa
ethnicity and
creare
so
delle
on.
polemiche,
Do you
in
think
qualche
that will
modo
lead to
addirittura essere
controversy?
accusato di
Do
essere
you
un
think
film
the film might be
politicamente
accused
scorretto?
of being
Grazie.
a politically incorrect film?
I love the softball questions early in the morning. I don't, it's such a story to me. It's just, to me, it's almost like I remember the first time I saw this film, Tender Mercies, and I just thought there was something magical about the idea that a kind of camera just landed in a place and happened to document what was going on where it landed. And that's how I feel about this movie, is that we're not making statements. We are portraying these people in this moment in time, and the camera has fallen from the sky in this particular moment and captures all this. And that's what I think is sort of incredible about it. You know, the insights that you get to see into this marriage, which, not to take away from anybody else, but this was just some of the most fun excavation, because I felt like to be with Michael was not only an actor dream come true, but their relationship is so complicated, and I thought so many people won't understand what this love is about, and so many people will. And so I think in that regard, I don't know about controversy per se, but we are challenging people to have conversation and to be excited by that or to be infuriated by that. It's up to you, and if you drink martinis or lemonade after the movie. That's kind of how I saw it. And it's not so much that we're making a statement, we're just sharing these lives for this moment, and then want everyone to go away and talk to each other. That, to me, is the most exciting bit, because we're kind of losing the art of conversation in humanity right now. And if making this movie does anything, getting everybody to talk to each other is the most exciting thing that I feel we could accomplish.
Michael, I'd like to follow up with a question to Michael, because it's true, it's here in the table at the end, Julia. Very far. Hi. Because it's very true what Julia just said. The relationship between you and, you know, as a couple, it's a very profoundly fascinating, you know, and the way Michael appears to take a step back from the intrigue that's going on, but is there, and they have a parallel love that works. How would you describe this marriage, or your point of view of your character?
I think it's a singular marriage, an unusual marriage, a deep one, best friends, complete trust, history, understanding, sacrifice. All of these elements come into this relationship between these two individuals. I find it unique, multi-layered, and a true examination of individuals who have made a commitment to each other and under extraordinary circumstances have each other's back. And I think they know that in the deepest parts of who they are, and that whatever it is that they end up going through as individuals, they'll at least know there's one person in the world who understands them and all their complexities. And I think that was an extraordinary gift to try to understand, to play, and mixed in with all the other textures of all the other individuals in the story, makes us, I think, want to dig deeper into what those questions that are perhaps alluded to in the script, what's beyond them. And I think that's part of the gift of this film as well, in that what you experience as individuals, you'll carry away with you after watching it, and you can ask each other what it was that you sensed or observed. Oh, I missed that. Oh, that happened. I missed that. I'm going to go back and look at it again. Why did they say that thing? I think there's so many unanswered questions, and that's part of the fun as well. And I think the audience brings those answers with them.
Thank you. There's someone there has been waiting for a while.
Salve, Paolo Fiorelli di TV Sorrisi e Canzoni.
TV Sorrisi e
vorrei
Canzoni.
regalare alla signora Roberts una domanda più leggera per questa
lighter
mattina.
question for Miss Roberts
Le vorrei
this morning.
chiederle di parlarci del suo rapporto
Could
con
you
Venezia
tell us
e se
about your
nel
relationship with
tourbillon del
Venice,
festival è anche
and
riuscita
in all the confusion
a
of the
incontrare
festival,
amici italiani
have you been
stranieri
able
o
to
a
meet
visitare
Italian
qualcosa,
friends,
oppure
foreign
se
friends? Have you
gli
visited
impegni sono
something of the
troppo
city,
grossi?
or
Grazie.
have you got too many commitments to appreciate the city?
I had a great tour plan this morning, but I'm here. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I have worked here, so I have been lucky enough to spend some time here in the past, and it's so magical. It's one of the most inexplicable and magical places. What is it even doing here, Venice? Like, what? It's just so incredible. But no, have not done anything outside of work. But even as we were coming over this morning, I just said, look where we are. Look what we're doing. It's like a dream, truly.
I have one question before we close for Luca, because I think it's important. After you made two films about the margins, about characters at the margins. This is really an elite, and it's a very specific. What fascinated about academia, specifically, American academia, and the Department of Philosophy?
Well, I thought it. First of all, I was very much impressed by Nora's script that came to me, and that was kind of talking to me, and was kind of taking a conversation with me that I already started within myself about the idea of power. What do we want when we are looking for power? Why we want power? Why we fight over getting power in our hands and taking it off other people's hands? And this script came to me, and it was fantastic. And the structure and the infrastructure was fantastic, because of course, I'm sorry, but I always think in cinematic terms. And for me, the idea of Yale, the idea of the academia, the idea of these corridors, alleys, classrooms, apartments, and bars, and restaurants were so iconic and universal in a way, because they were like the part that says all about the sum. And for me, really, I always ask myself, what do you want? And I so far answer to myself that I want tranquility. And when I see the ambition in others of wanting something that is an affirmation of the self beyond and above other people, I'm quite interested in that, because it's just a damnation. So I think it's so beautiful to have the opportunity to explore that kind of blind quest between people, like that you're going to go and do anything to own power, that you have to be defined by the power you have. You know, but there is this great Bartleby by Herman Melville, who says, I prefer not. And so for me, this movie is about those who want instead of prefer not. So I kept making movies about people who prefer not, but this time I wanted to revert the perspective.
And unfortunately, we have to finish here. I thank you so much for our guest and for the film. Sorry, I never got to you.
That's fine. I didn't expect it.
No, but